Another day and the New York Knicks are still looking for their next head coach.
It's been 84 years.
A lot to talk about. Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown right now, the top two on the list that are going to be getting meetings this week, as well as there's rumors that Jason Kidd is still technically in the running. And is there any more love left for my guy, Johnnie Bryant? I'm holding out hope. I still believe there is a chance, but we're going to talk about that more. And then from other rumors and things that I guess we need to talk about, Kevin Durant wanted to be a Knick.
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
That's not gonna happen no more. How true is that? I guess the world may never know. And a lot of names that are being circled around the New York Knicks, because why? It's that time of the year where it is time to talk about rumors and find out who is going to play for the Knicks before they actually, or if they ever, play for the New York Knicks. So a lot of things to digest: the coaching search, possibilities of who we're gonna sign and or trade, all that coming up after this. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Cruise Boy, CK2K, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video. And my God, has this coaching search been a doozy. The New York Knicks getting picked apart all around the world from the mainstream media, talking about how the Knicks are taking forever to find a coaching job, and this has to be one of the stupidest things the Knicks have ever done because we, quote unquote, have no direction. But I'm here to tell you that, guys, the Knicks are doing the right thing. The New York Knicks are doing what they're supposed to do. Take their time to make sure that the next guy that comes to this team, the head coach, this squad, is the guy going forward. We knew what we had in Tom Thibodeau. He did everything right as far as bringing a culture back to New York, bringing back winning ways to New York. The problem was just didn't know how to bring the winning and the culture, but also connect with his players. And that was the biggest problem, according to everywhere that you can get a source from. And now the Knicks need to find that person that can do that while also developing, while bringing winning back to New York. So it's a tall task, and it's not the kind of task where you just you make a decision and go right after a guy. No, you got to make sure all of your options are taken care of. You got to check all of your spots. That's why we saw last week the New York Knicks make calls to everyone around the league, from the biggest hopeful possibilities like Ime Udoka and Jason Kidd to some of the lowest lows like Billy Donovan. They were trying everybody, and that's the right thing that they should do. Now, to that, we talk about how Jason Kidd, who, even though we heard Dallas give the Knicks a resounding F no, for some reason, the Mark Steins and Ian Begleys are saying that we should still keep our eyes peeled on the Jason Kidd situation, and there's still a possibility that the New York Knicks can somehow get Jason Kidd before this is all said and done. But while we wait on the possibility of hiring an already hired coach, the Knicks are finally having their first interviews with guys that are unemployed and looking to be the new head coach of the New York Knicks. And those guys are Mike Brown, who formerly coached the Sacramento Kings to a great season and then got let go after so-and-so season that wasn't even his fault. And also Taylor Jenkins, one of my personal favorites. I talked about it in my last video. After Johnnie Bryant, Taylor Jenkins is my favorite. And I'll be honest with you, I'm cool with all these options. I like the decision of Mike Brown. I think my only issue with Mike Brown is the longevity. I mean, I feel like that's been his issue everywhere he's gone. I feel like his tenures tend to stall out for one reason or another. I feel like in Sacramento, it was more of a GM problem. Which version of Mike Brown are we going to get if he comes and joins New York Knicks? I think he's a phenomenal coach. I've said it. I would love for Mike Brown to come and be the assistant coach of Johnnie Bryant. I would like to have the younger Johnnie Bryant as our head coach and have a guy like Mike Brown be a part of his staff. But, you know, if he ends up being our head coach, it's one of those things like, do you truthfully believe that Mike Brown could be an upgrade from Tom Thibodeau? We know that he's solid in the development department, but do we know what he could do in the winning department when he doesn't have the likes of a guy like LeBron James? We don't know. We don't know. Again, I don't hate the Mike Brown situation. I just feel like, again, is this a long-term decision if we go the Mike Brown route? But we're waiting to see when the Knicks have an interview with him. But before him, the Knicks have an interview with former head coach Taylor Jenkins. Now, a lot like Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins showed signs of doing a great job at developing younger talent, which is, I feel like, a big deal. I want a guy that knows how to utilize the majority of his bench, to utilize your scorers. I feel like he did a great job in making plays and making situations for Jaren Jackson to thrive. We know what Ja Morant turned into in his first few years with Memphis under the tutelage of Taylor Jenkins. So we know what he's going to do as far as getting us offense going, and as well as bringing the team together. And the big thing for me is I feel like he knows how to utilize his bench, utilize the young guys, utilize whoever we get in the draft or whoever we decide to sign in free agency. And I think that's why I like Taylor Jenkins so much. I really think Taylor Jenkins deserves his flowers because I feel like he could be a great voice, a great coach for this team going forward. I think he matches the energy of the guys that we have on this team. But like I said, longevity wise, is Taylor Jenkins the guy? Not sure about that, but I am a fan. And again, he was my number 2 option to Johnnie Bryant. So there lies another question, Johnnie Bryant. Like myself, there's a lot of Knicks fans that are really wanting and really keen on having Johnnie Bryant be our next coach, but the more the search goes on, the less and less we hear Johnnie Bryant's name. Hell, the only thing we've heard about Johnnie Bryant is from multiple sources like CP, who has been right on a lot of things countless times throughout the season. We heard Ian Begley talk about it. Shout out to Chris, who's been talking about that as well. Kristen Winfield as well. A lot of people are talking about the front office being a fan of Johnnie Bryant, but that's really where that ends. Now, there's that possibility that they may not feel like they need to interview Johnnie Bryant because he spent the majority of the last 4 seasons with the New York Knicks, so they know what his plan would be and what he would want to do for this team. So maybe he is that guy where they're thinking that he could fill in that role, but let's look at other names and check every option we have. And that's what I'm hoping for, but we don't know because his name seems to disappear in the talks of head coaching. Right now, Taylor Jenkins, Mike Brown, and even Jason Kidd are the main names to look forward to, but I'm holding out hope on Johnnie Bryant. I really believe that Johnnie Bryant is there. I would love to see Johnnie Bryant be the head coach with some veteran coaches in his coaching staff. That's still my hope, but I'm happy that the Knicks are finally looking into Taylor Jenkins. He's one of my favorite options. Like I said, does a great job using depth, and he knows he's going to figure out ways to get offense for our guys outside of just Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and that's the biggest thing that this team needs to do. What are your thoughts about our options right now? That's as much as we got right now in the current coaching search right now. I mean, there's a lot of names that are being thrown around that people are curious about, the Sam Cassells of the world and all these other names, but there's nothing really been confirmed that those guys are even being considered by the New York Knicks outside rumors that are from people that we may or may not have heard of. But right now, the foregone conclusion, the foregone thing that we're looking at right now is Taylor Jenkins, Mike Brown, and the overlooming possibility that Jason Kidd can still be a coach on this team, even with the denial from the Dallas Mavericks. But what says you? Who is your option? Do you agree with me on hoping that the Johnnie Bryant is still in the minds of the front office, or do you like any of these other names that we mentioned? Let me know your thoughts about the coaching search in the comments below. But from the head coaching situation, we got to talk about the other rumors for our possibility at upgrading the roster. Kevin Durant, his name has been surrounded by the New York Knicks, it feels like every damn offseason, and this offseason is no different. Kevin Durant, we've heard about the rumor about him possibly being moved to the New York Knicks at the trade deadline last year, and then that trade falling through. And now we're hearing the rumor that is coming from multiple sources that Kevin Durant wanted the New York Knicks, but the New York Knicks not showing much interest in him. So now it seems that Kevin Durant is looking elsewhere for where his next destination is going to be when it comes to a trade for him.
KD wanted the New York Knicks. He wanted to go there. The Knicks have no interest in bringing him in, which probably makes Knicks Nation, I don't know, probably quite interested in why not. I think these 3 choices are by default. He definitely doesn't want to go to Minnesota, but I think there is some fear from him at Rich Kleiman that they're hoping that there's going to be respect at Kevin's age to give him what he wants.
Again, I'm taking these rumors with a grain of salt. I do believe Kevin Durant wants to be a Knick. Whether you hate the Knicks or you love the Knicks, I feel like everyone can agree that the New York Knicks is a hot destination right now, being that it's the city, being that this team is arguably in an Eastern Conference that's wide open, and the New York Knicks right now are in one of the best spots and possibly get into the Eastern Conference Finals in coming years. So, you know, for a Kevin Durant to come over here, get out of the West, come to the East, and play for this squad, it would be an enticing situation. So I do believe that Kevin Durant, in fact, did want to be a Knick. It would take too much for the New York Knicks to do to get Kevin Durant. I mean, you're most likely going to have to look and think about deals that involve Karl Anthony Towns to get Kevin Durant. A lot of people are 50-50 on that decision because KD is not getting any younger. He's about to be 38 years old. And Karl Anthony Towns, whether he has his flaws defensively and whatnot, he's still one of the best scorers in the history of the NBA at his size. And let's be real, whether it's the West Coast or the East Coast, he's been a big part on getting to a conference finals the last 2 years for the Timberwolves and with the New York Knicks. So So a lot of people are skeptical on just shipping Karl-Anthony Towns away for Kevin Durant. It doesn't matter because it seems now the New York Knicks are officially out of the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. There's a lot of other teams circling, like a San Antonio Spurs. I feel like San Antonio would be a great spot for Kevin Durant. There's all kinds of other rumors in places that he wants to be, but the New York Knicks seem, as of right now, to be out of that sweepstakes for Kevin Durant. But what are your thoughts about that, man? Kevin Durant wanting to be a Knick, the Knicks decide not to go that direction, what we would have had to give up for him. What are your thoughts about all that? Me personally, man, I like KD. I do. I feel like that ship sailed in that free agency. We decided to go to Brooklyn. I feel like we moved on from that. You know, as much as I'm still warming up to Karl-Anthony Towns, I've been so up and down with Towns this entire season. It'd be very crazy for me to disrespect the talent that Karl-Anthony Towns brings to this team. But on the other side of things, I do feel like if you reverse situations and Kevin Durant was on this New York Knicks team in the situations that we were at, and there's no disrespect to Cat, I feel like we would have gotten those shots that we needed down the stretch outside of Jalen Brunson, where we could have possibly gone through that series with Indiana. But that's hearsay. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I just don't know who makes that kind of deal for Kevin Durant on an expiring deal while he's 37 turning 38. It just isn't the smartest business move, regardless of how talented he is and how he's one of the best offensive players to ever touch a basketball. It's a really hard situation. I'm okay that we're not making the decision, but if we had made the trade straight for Kevin Durant, honestly, I would not have been upset at it either. I'm gonna be real with you. But either way, money is money, and both of them are making a lot of it. So, you know, you would have had to make a decision there. Now, back to other rumors. Let's talk about some free agency a little bit, just slightly, because it's still too soon to have this conversation. I mean, we did just see the Desmond Bane trade between Orlando and Memphis. And with that, now it is a bit of a waiting game to find out what's going on with Memphis. Is Memphis looking to get rid of their roster? Are they looking to move forward? Are they trying to start things over? Well, that rumor got nipped in the bud immediately, as it was just raging all over X, Twitter, whatever you call it, that there's a possibility that the Knicks could look into the Triple J situation. We saw Chris report on that with this tweet talking about this. We also, you know, heard that the internals are that the Knicks would love to pair up Karl-Anthony Towns and Triple J, which would be a great NBA 2K front court. But then Shams went on TV and nipped all that in the bud.
I'm told the Grizzlies are signaling privately that they will continue to build around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. The Grizzlies view this as a pivot away from that core of Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. and allow this team to have a little bit more youth, a little bit more financial flexibility moving forward, and then, most importantly, a massive haul of draft picks.
That is subject to change, as well as this offseason is just getting started. But as of right now, they have deaded those rumors. But what says you? Would you be willing to move around a Mitchell Robinson and possibly an OG or Mikal to Memphis to get Triple J or not? Again, Triple J is a guy I'm a big fan of. Honestly, I think it's more of a swapping Towns for Triple J that I'd be looking into. I don't know how I feel about Towns and Triple J together. I feel like there's a world where that would work perfectly. I see the match made in heaven that they're talking about, but also they're both so bad when it comes to fouls. They make stupid fouls, and it's possible we can lose them both at the same time. I would much rather a world of Triple J and Mitch. If it works, Triple J and Karl-Anthony Towns could be a masterpiece along with a Jalen Brunson. But again, I'm not buying into that rumor. I think it's a great talking piece, but I don't see the Memphis Grizzlies moving on. If there's anybody getting traded in Memphis, peace and love. I don't care what the rumors are saying, what they're not saying. Ja Morant is the first one to go before Triple J, in my humble opinion. I think Triple J would be a better person to build around, especially with his skill set, than Ja Morant with the in and out and how he's been for the last 3 years in his career. I know that's probably a very controversial take, but I just don't see Triple J being the one moved before Ja Morant. But that's all the updates and everything I got for you up until this point. I would love to come to you on Thursday talking about who our new head coach would be, but I just don't see that being likely. But the Knicks need to make a choice, as the draft is a week away, and Knicks really need to make that decision before the draft comes up. But let me know your thoughts about everything mentioned in this video in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about the coaching search, Kevin Durant, free agent opportunities, Triple J, all of the above? I can't wait to read your comments, and I'm going to respond to them. I'll always try and respond to them, especially within the first day of this video coming up. But if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.